Right.
The fact that they don't know us around. on
Yeah,
election.
I do agree that that part's a minimum, but it's.
It's like,
I would
how
say-
Christmas and.
Anything that-
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Oh, it's right
Later,
here.
But it's meant wall.
Well, but that's.
Right, right.
Like I said last time,
I opened it from again.
You didn't know it.
during the, yesterday, felt like there was motorcycles on one wheel, 60, 70 miles an hour up there. I hope he knows.
That's what I was.
Well, yesterday we went to lunch, the old guys. 15 minutes. He called, Reed Paul, my cousin sat by me and says, oh, sure is. Chuck Bradley.
He can't find anywhere. to
Last
go.
month we went Chinese. He calls from Chick-fil-A and says, where is Chinese place?
Shouldn't be driving.
When he's got. Horse on his hand, and his wife
Okay, we'll get started. We'd like to welcome everyone to South Weber City Council at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, March the 10th, 2026. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance from Councilman Windsor and then a prayer by Councilman Halverson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our dear Father in heaven, as we come before thee this evening, we're so very grateful for the opportunity we have to gather here and to discuss the needs of the city. We're thankful for the area we live in and the beautiful place it is and the opportunities which it provides for us. Father, we ask for thy Spirit to be with us as we make decisions and discuss the issues before us, that we may make decisions to the best of our ability with the knowledge we have. Father, again, we're thankful for our firefighters and our armed forces and all they're doing here and across the world. Watch over and protect them, that they may return home in safety to their families. We thank thee again for all that we have, and we say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Okay, we'll begin this evening with public comments. Thank you very much, Councilman Windsor, Councilman Halverson. Appreciate that. We'll begin with our public comments. We ask that you please be respectful. We ask you to come up to the microphone and state your name and the city in which you reside. You may speak for 3 minutes or less, and please no remarks from the audience. And the council will not comment on your remarks at this time. So with that, Brent, you're already up there.
I'm here. My name is Brent Paul from South Weber. I've lived here for just short of 80 years, which is my entire life. My concern though right now is about the development or lack thereof because of the Hill Air Force Base pollution. I don't know if you guys knew it or not, but we've been on the national priority list as one of the most hazardous sites in the entire country for almost 40 years now. And it hasn't done us much good to be on the national priority list, meaning it is a priority and they still don't respond well. In fact, pathetic is a pretty good answer for it. They put out a plan back in the 1980s where they expected to have it resolved by the 2010s. But the 2010s came and gone, and then they just changed it, still have monitor natural attenuation being the resolution. But now it's going to be until the 2040s before it's remediated. So you can see we're a long ways, still going to be in a dire situation. There's some property not far from us, just down the road. It's on the national priority list. We've been on the national priority list for over almost 40 years now, 40 years, and hasn't moved an inch. But anyway, I'm using up all my time reading my own notes. Anyway, it hasn't been resolved and it's not being resolved. In fact, I've been up here many times over the years, as you guys well know, and I can't think of one constructive thing that we've done as a city. Gilfield, all they've had is monitored natural attenuation, which is basically just watching it do nothing for 40 years, but nothing's happened. So here we are, still polluted after all these years, and we're not supposed to subdivide it until it's cleaned up. But we do that, don't we? We approve the subdivisions, and they're polluted subdivisions. I don't know how people are going to be held accountable, but you should be held accountable because they are polluted and they're dangerous. I've got a lot more written down, but I'll have to do it on another day. Thanks for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you, Brent. Appreciate it.
Beg your indulgence because I'm not walking well and Michael is.
Go ahead.
Just to alleviate your curiosity, since I'm a regular here, a ski accident yesterday, so now we've been 6 weeks. Seen him like this for a while.
Sorry, I didn't know he was not.
Yeah, we can pass it.
Paul Sturm, South Weaver City. I have public comments and questions on agenda item number 6, the conditional use permit 2601 for Quick Trip. I have many questions. I have continuing questions regarding the thoroughness of responses provided to the numerous concerns raised for this Quick Trip development over the past several months, both internally and by South Weaver City citizens. Questions were presented to the Planning Commission on 2 occasions, and it appears that they were not fully addressed in the responses provided on a 1-for-1 basis of questions versus answers provided. Once again, it appears that this Quick Trip project and its associated conditional use permit requirements are being rushed through the South Weaver City approval process as is currently being presented to the City Council. In the detailed engineering analysis performed regarding the status of responses requested and provided, there are numerous unanswered questions. What I did is did an analysis of the engineering study. There were a total of 36 assessments performed. Assessments shown as completed are 18. Assessments shown as not completed, 15. Assessments shown as pending is 3. Thus, the City Council is being asked to approve a CUP that will significantly impact many East End residents and local businesses, with only 1/2 of the questions that were asked over many months being answered in the engineering analysis of the CUP requirements. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Jeff Eddings, 2645 East, 7800 South. My comments are in regard to the Quick Trip. I'm not thrilled about the another gas station being built right by my residence, right across the street, but it is what it is. And more than likely, it's probably going to go through. But I do want to say that I did attend the Planning Commission meetings, and Braxton and Spencer back here, representatives of the Quick Trip and the other firm. They seem like they do want to help out the residents. They were really responsive to the things that we said, and they did make some changes. So I do think they are taking our concerns into consideration to minimize the impact of the commercial, so the residents that live around the area don't have to, you know, so much noise, so much light, things like that. So I do want to commend them on that. I know it probably isn't going to be, it might be talked about tonight, but it isn't necessarily on the agenda. But the roundabout that's proposed in front of my home right there on the frontage road in 7800 South. I am adamantly against that. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's just a nicety. It's not a requirement. I don't think the traffic that going down that street requires it. I think a 2-way stop would be fine. I think what you're doing is just making a gas station recirculation device versus fixing the actual traffic. I also don't think that we need raised medians down there by the Maverick. I think that's just going to cause more problems. I think if you widen the road, I think people can figure out how to get out in there safely. And anyways, I just wanted to go on the record saying that I don't think the roundabout's necessary. It's just too much. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hi, Paul Straz, South Weaver. Council members, thank you.
I want to share what I found after reviewing ordinance 2026-04, the legal exhibits, the staff report, and the concept layout. When you line these documents up, they don't match, and these inconsistencies matter. First, the acreage numbers conflict. The ordinance and staff report say 34.635 acres. Exhibit A is 14.044 acres, and Exhibit B is 20.591 acres. Those add up, but the concept layout shows 35.66 acres. That's more than a 1 acre difference. In zoning, an acre isn't a rounding error, it's a legal boundary. If the map, the exhibits, and the ordinance don't align, the council can't make a clean legislative decision. Second, the ordinance lists 3 parcels, including parcel 1302-10150, but exhibits A and B only describe 2. Parcel 150 has no legal description attached. That means the council is being asked to rezone land that is not properly defined in the record. That's not a small oversight. Third, the concept plan is binding under city code, but the plan is incomplete. South Weaver Code requires lot layouts, circulation systems, densities, open space, phasing, and conceptual utilities. The map shows lot lines and cul-de-sacs, but several required elements are missing. And key impact analyses such as traffic, safety, schools are pushed to the subdivision stage. And that brings me to my critical point. What it really means when the report says we'll look at it at the subdivision stage, it means the zoning is approved first before the city has a traffic study, a utility capacity analysis, an emergency access plan, a school impact review, stormwater engineering, or a road safety mitigation plan. Those come later after the zoning is already granted, when the city has far less leverage. Once zoning is approved, the developer has a legal right to build at that density, even if later studies show, for example, that the road is unsafe, the intersection fails, the school is over capacity, or utilities can't support the load. The city cannot reduce density or undo the zoning. They can only require technical tweaks, not fewer homes. So when we defer traffic and safety to the subdivision stage, we are approving zoning blind. It's the planning equivalent of saying, we'll build the airplane now and check the wings once we're in the air. Fourth, the layout map itself raises concerns. It shows 70 lots total, 42 in the residential moderate area and 28 in the residential low moderate area. But the densities shown on the map are well below what the zoning would legally allow. So our LM area, max density is 2 units per acre. Concept map shows 1.86 units. Residential moderate, max density is 4 units per acre. Concept map shows 2.04 units per acre. Why does this matter? This means the zoning being requested enables significantly higher density than what is drawn on the concept plan. The map is not a cap, the zoning is. And once the higher capacity zoning is granted, the city has no ability to reduce density later if impacts turn out to be greater than expected. Last, the planning commission itself acknowledged the safety hazard at 925 East, a blind corner with school traffic and sidewalk deficiencies, and even said more UDOT information is needed before subdivision approval. That's on page 89 of the staff report of this package of 159 pages. Yet this rezone is being pushed ahead of that information. Approving zoning before resolving what I believe to be the most dangerous part of the project is not just premature, it's unsafe. Finally, the reversion clause is not the automatic safeguard it appears to be. Reversion only occurs if deadlines are tracked, conditions are enforced, and no extension is granted. In practice, that makes reversion conditional, not guaranteed, and it puts the onus on the city to initiate and enforce it. Council members, these aren't opinions. These are facts pulled directly from the documents in front of you. When the ordinance, the exhibits, and the concept plan don't align, and when key safety and infrastructure questions are still unanswered, the only responsible action is to deny the rezone and require a complete, consistent, and safe application. We only get one chance to zone this land correctly. Let's do it right, not fast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other comments, we'll move on with our action items consisting of our consent agenda of minutes for February the 7th, 2026, February checks, December's budget to actual, amended staff report, and January's budget to actual. Is there any corrections or changes to any of these items? Council, if not, we'll look for a motion to approve.
Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda. Second.
We have a motion and a second by Councilman Windsor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Thank you. Next item, ordinance 2026-04, changing zoning for Peak subdivision at approximately 898 east, 7240 south from agricultural to multiple regional residential zone. Applicant Corey Cap and Vern Peak. Before we get in on this, we're gonna have Lance lead in on this discussion.
Well, good evening. This is a rezone request. The acreage has been fluctuated a little bit, but it has landed finally on 34.635 acres. That matches the two legal descriptions that we've received from the applicant. 14 acres is requested to go to RLM, and 20.59 acres is requested to go to RM. The city council is the final approving body for the rezone. After that point, if the rezone is approved, then the subdivision process would, preliminary plat application would be next, and that would go to the planning commission for final approval, would not come to the city council. And the final plat would go to the administrative land use authority, which is a committee of 2 council members and staff that would review the final plat, which is mostly technical documents. So this is the chance to discuss the land use as it is outlined. The general plan outlines this area for this level of density, and these zones meet that level of density. And so staff has recommended approval. The Planning Commission also discussed it and held the public hearing on February 12th and got the public comments and feedbacks on that. They recommended approval. The question of the intersection at 925 was a direction that came from UDOT. As they looked at the subdivision plat, they saw that the original location was further to the east, South Weaver Drive, and they said, no, we don't want it there. We need to have it at 925.
Excuse me, did they recommend approval, or did they do approval with conditions?
Planning
That's good.
Commission recommended approval.
With no conditions?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway, and so UDOT looked at that and they have outlined items that need to be addressed. The land use process, generally speaking, is, what kind of uses do we want there at the general plan? We outlined this level of density. Now we're rezoning or zoning the property from agricultural to that level of density. And then we'll get into much more of the details and everything at the subdivision phase, where there's a lot of issues that have to be addressed. The items that are in the staff report are at a little bit higher level, but there's no reason to think that like the water and storm sewer and all those types of things they can be done. It's just the details of how they will be done that will be ironed out in the subdivision phase. So that's Planning Commission recommended approval.
Okay. Thank you, Lance. Council? Any discussions?
I just have a few quick questions. Is this gentleman here correct that all of these numbers are missing, incorrect? I mean, I'm looking at page 89 and it still says that this is projected land use of residential patio. It's just kind of interesting to, is this document up to date? Are we even looking at the correct stuff right now?
Well, I believe so. I'm trying to think what that, let me get to it, and I didn't have a chance to look at that.
And this is just on page 89. This is at the beginning of it when it talks about the background and the analysis. So.
This is just talking about, that's talking about the surrounded uses.
Okay, so you're saying that the surrounded uses are still the patio on the radio. Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So the properties to the west are Harvest Park and they are RP, and that is the zoning and the densities that are there.
And so the numbers that he discussed they're all set, and do we know which ones they are?
Well, and that's what I was going to say is I think there might be some confusion. The original application that's in the packet was a larger number of acres, and it's shrunk and been changed a couple times. A little bit of fluctuation there due to issues that the applicant's having. I wouldn't say issues, but things that the applicant's working out. The rezone tonight would be for the 34 acres in those two zones.
I can add that what really matters is the legal descriptions, which were provided on, I don't know. As was pointed out by that gentleman earlier, legal descriptions are what carry. So it's page 99 and 100 of the packet. And if you add those two acreages up, they equal the 34.635.
My question is on, I know that there was a portion of the original. There's approximately 7 acres that was not going to be included in this development. That acreage is not included in density, correct?
Anyone have any other questions, concerns?
I guess one of the last big concerns that I have is that right now, just looking at this, to me, we are talking about having an egress going out on a road that we do not have any plans for that road to be paid for. Sorry, do you not understand?
Out onto South Weaver Drive?
No, up onto the Old Fort Road. So if we have to have two egresses and we've got the top Old Fort Road, obviously we wanted to be able to have some type of connection going out there, and it even shows it going through here, but then ending at Old Fort Road, but that's going to then end in a dead end.
So to the west, it dead ends, but it'll have the access to the south, to South Weaver Drive.
Right.
And then it'll have the two accesses on Canyon and Old Fort Road that would connect to the east.
To the east into the, what some people call the DR part of the subdivision.
Yeah.
Okay, but that one's not. Yeah.
Because it's part of the same developer's other subdivision.
Oh, yeah.
And and looking at that one, so that one's got the exit going out there, and then
connect until this property.
right.
Until this property develops.
That's exactly what you're saying. Yep. Yeah. And I'm not comfortable with that. I know that we're just doing a rezone at this point right now, but yeah, I'm still not comfortable with connecting it to a place that we don't have. I mean, obviously we can run it through the others, but we could be talking years before we get any type of disconnection or any kind of connection going out. So that's just my thought. Yeah. And then going out to the freeway. So somebody's got to pay for it. And I don't know who or how we're going to be able to get that going over there. Cause right now, I have no intention of the city paying for it. So.
Going to the west, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Lance, on the rezone though, can we, as far as density goes, can we tie it to the number of lots currently on this plat?
Sure.
Well,
I mean,
technically in code, we say that unless it's a significant change, that's one that we just put in, and a significant change is 10% or more.
But it needs to be based on the plat we viewed at the time.
Exactly.
Okay, that's where I was headed with that.
Yeah.
As long as that plat gets tied to that, that's been the concern in the past where we've lost that disconnect.
Yeah, Joel's got it.
Brandon, can you
There's been a lot of comments about that connection on South Weaver Road and there being a blind corner there and it being a safety issue. Can you just address that for us, please?
I can give you an answer. This is a difficult area. In the city's overall transportation master plan, for all of this undeveloped ground here that's north of South Weaver Drive, we show adding one more road connection between 1200 East and Canyon Meadows Drive. So in that whole stretch, we're only allowing one.
So this would be that one.
This would be the one. Yep.
Okay. And then the long-term plan to kind of address what Joel's concern is, obviously all that traffic will funnel out of that one exit point until Old Fort Road eventually gets connected. Once whoever owns that property decides to develop it, I imagine that would be part of the development process, just like these two properties are doing their sections, right?
Yes, you mean to the west?
To the west, yeah.
Yeah, yes. I mean, that's why we have a master plan and you can only carry it forward as people decide to develop their ground. So you can't control who develops first or when that happens. So we respond accordingly. As far as like the actual location connecting to 925 versus connecting it, I think we call it where it's currently coming out at Cap Road. We call it Cap Road. That UDOT is requiring it that it goes to at that location. It does feel like a blind corner right now. There are a lot of trees that are difficult to see around. In order for UDOT to approve it, they'll have to meet the site distances required. It is UDOT's road. I personally feel that it connecting to 925 in the long run is a safer location than farther to the east. Again, what I would add to that is my reasoning for that is that offset intersections always prove, especially long-term, to be challenging and difficult. We show in the long-term plan that as soon as the traffic meets the requirement, that we'd anticipate that a traffic signal would maybe be anticipated here. I imagine, in my own opinion, that would be a safer situation for the kids that will live in this neighborhood that will go to South Weaver Drive. I mean, to South Weaver Elementary and cross South Weaver Drive. Versus offset intersections where you would have to choose one of those to put in a signal and the other one would be unsignalized, thus making it less safe, in my opinion. It would be ideal if you could connect in a location where the road was perfectly straight. But they'll still have to meet those site distance requirements. So that approval comes from UDOT. I don't know if I'm answering your question, but.
No, I appreciate it because I think that the context is important because that isn't necessarily drawn out like that in the documentation. So that answered it for me. So I appreciate it.
You brought up that UDOT approved it. I thought they required it to come out at that.
No. They have not approved anything yet. They are the ones that would need to approve it. But they are requiring, if you're going to connect, you've got to connect at 925.
Right. So they're saying it crosswise, not to, okay.
Right.
So you're saying by the 925.
Yes. Now we could just eliminate having a road connection there altogether. but I don't think in the long run that that is a wise plan.
Well, especially if we don't have a connection going out in the west. Yeah, sorry.
Well, the city has tried and, you know, in the general plan has mapped out the major roads and those connections and where those should be. So this is just simply carrying that step forward based on this particular property that is now wanting to develop.
I guess the only thing I questioned then is, are they doing this in proposed phases? Okay. And the north end is going to be the first part done?
Cap piece, there'll be a total of 4 phases, so we'll develop the cap piece in 2 phases and then the peak subdivision in 2 phases.
Okay. And that's when the road will be put in, is in
Well,
the first phases?
the road will have to be connected. There'll have to be connection from Old Fort Road all the way through to South Weber Drive in the first phase. And they can to get, yeah. Because right now we are at the max number of lots on a place where there's only one ingress and egress.
Okay.
We're at 30 homes there already. So their first phase will have to include a road that goes all the way through to connect both of those so that they then have the ingress and egress that they need. But after that, it really wouldn't matter too much how they decide to phase it.
Okay, okay. And I do appreciate the patio homes being taken out from that first review that we looked. So, okay, I think that's all my questions.
Okay, anyone else? We'll look for a motion now.
Mayor, I make a motion. We approve ordinance 2026-04, changing zoning for peak subdivision.
Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion and a second by Councilman Alverson. Roll call vote.
We have a question. Further discussion before we go to
discussion.
Yeah, further discussion. Are we tying this to the number of lots that have been proposed, your motion?
According to Joel, it's automatic, right?
Well,
Or do you want to include it in?
10% is automatic. If you want to keep it to anything lower, if you want to keep it to anything lower than that 10%, so if you've got 100 homes going in there, that gives you plus or minus 10 that can be changed in that. So if you want to reduce that number, then it would have to be tied to the approval.
Then do you add that?
I will modify my motion. Michelle, I'll just start over. Mayor, make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-04, changing zoning for peak subdivision as presented.
For the lot density on the current plat.
For the lot density on the current plat presented to us. Does that work, Jamie?
Seconded.
Okay. The roll call vote, starting with Councilman Windsor.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Next item. Conditional use permit 26-01 Quick Trip. Braxton here from Quick Trip, and we'll ask him to come up and turn the time to him.
Hi, Mayor. Hi, Council. It's great to see you guys. I have a presentation. We want to pull that up. Just giving you a little background on Quick Trip, a little background on the project, where we are so far, and then I'll take questions at the end. So we are Quick Trip. We've been in business since 1958. Started in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's where I started. I started in the stores, 16 years old, worked my way up through the ranks. Now been with the company for 15 years and get to present in front of you guys and get to build the next generation so that hopefully your 16-year-olds can go on and do exactly what I did. If we'll go to the next slide. Sweet. Members of this project are gonna be Jessica Glavis. She is our real estate manager on this. She's the one that did the land acquisition, purchasing, and worked with the developer that previously owned the property. I am Braxton Key. As I already said, I'm the real estate project manager. I'm here to get it through entitlements and through the permitting process. We have Galloway as our engineer. So Spencer Hymas is here with me, and as well as Kylie Bailey. She is our engineer of record. And then Brian Haran is our traffic engineer, also from Galloway. And then Strong and Hanny are our attorney on this project. Reed Lambert is leading the charge on that. We can go to the next slide. So a little bit about Quick Trip. Our main objective at Quick Trip is to provide opportunities to grow and succeed for our employees. Our founder, as he left the store operations side of things, said that if you're not taking care of your customers, you better be taking care of your employees. And we still hold true to that today. I'm a testament of that. They put me through college. They've provided me with a, ample salary to come talk to you guys and to be comfortable not to be looking for other jobs. So they still take care of their employees to this day. If we can move on to the next slide. We have 5 core values at Quick Trip: be the best, focus long-term, do what's right for Quick Trip, never be satisfied, and also to do the right thing. Moving on. A little background on the company. We have spent 15 years on Forbes Fortune's list of 100 best companies to work for. We're frequently on Forbes top 100 privately held companies. We create an average of 20 new jobs per location. That is an initial job creation phase. Throughout the course of a store, stores are usually in business 25 to 50 years, depending on the location. If we shut one down, we usually relocate it across the street, so it's not going anywhere. It'll stay in your community. But throughout the course of our store, we anticipate anywhere from 400 to 600 jobs created from that store. Quick Trip has never laid off an employee in our history. We are very prideful of that. We have been through thick and thin with our employees and with our customers, and we have been very blessed to never have laid off a single employee. Our average store manager salary starts around $100,000 to $110,000 per year. That's our base average. That is a full-time career. That is a 9 to 5. Well, it's 4 to 3, but still, it's Monday through Friday. They work there. They get benefits. They get stock. They get 401k. I mean, they get everything that you would get at a career. And we pride ourselves on a lot of our employees being over 10 years with the company. And especially with our managers, the average is more than 10 years with the company. Also, our assistant managers are well paid. So they start at about $55,000 per year on average. Again, this is another full-time job. It's Monday through Friday. Some positions are going to be on the weekends, but still it's a full-time job. It's a foot in the door, an opportunity for you to grow within the company and to move up, as I did. Quick Trip also contributes 5% of our profits every year to local organizations. That is selected through our local stores. They have a committee. They pick whatever in their community that has the most need, whether that be United Way, Folds of Honor, which is from my hometown of Owasso, Oklahoma. We're very big proponents of that. And then we donate to just various organizations that reach out and need help. We have links all over our website that you can go to. If you guys know of a need, we would be happy to donate to it.
We always have sponsorships available too. by the way.
Yes. Yes, I've been told. Yes. So we also are a National Safe Place organization. So if a youth comes into our store asking for a safe place, we call representatives from Safe Place. They come and scoop up the youth within 15 minutes, and then police are notified if they need to be involved. Moving on to the next slide. Here's a few pictures of our community involvement. As you can see, we do a wide variety of things, all the way from the MLK Parade to Veterans Day to the purple shirts are our day of caring with United Way. So we go out to local organizations within the community, pick up shovels, move dirt, do whatever they need us to do at that local spot. We move on. Now I'm going to make you guys a little bit hungry before I get into the details of our plans. So I'm going to show you some of our fresh food options. These are our donuts. They are made, they're excellent, and they are shipped here every day. They are made fresh, and they are fantastic. If we move on, breakfast pizza. This put on about 10 pounds on me when I worked in the stores, so it is delicious. I can attest to that. Here's some of our sandwich options, and we got grilled cheese in the bottom right corner. And all these are made fresh within our store. So if we can move on. And then this is our newest item, which are our crispy snacks. So we have all kinds of crispy snacks that we offer now at all of our stores. And every store that's built here in Utah will start off with crispy snacks. We're going to retrofitting all the existing inventory. Obviously, we can't slow going. Moving on to our site plan. So this is a picture of our site plan. It is in your packet, but I just wanted to give you guys another visual representation of our site plan. We have worked very diligently with your planning commission and with your city staff to get to this point. If we can move on. Here are a few of the items that we have worked with planning commission and staff on. So we have reduced the height of our pole sign by 40%. We have reduced the square footage by 43%. The pole sign was relocated from the south entrance to behind our trash enclosures. We have also reduced the number of proposed monument signs to 1. We have added 20 additional trees along the southern and western areas of our site plan. This is to provide, as the gentleman came up and spoke earlier, to provide shading and a buffer from the residential housing that is catty corner from us. We have also made the south entrance a truck-only entrance, which we will provide signage at that entrance so that it is utilized only as a truck entrance. And as you can see on our site plan, it is very hard for trucks to ever exit from there. And then we have also confirmed the location and materials to satisfy neighbors and planning commission for our fencing along the highway. We can move on. Now we're gonna get into store design. Here's a picture of your guys' lovely Quick Trip. Hopefully it'll come to fruition soon. We can move on. This is the gas canopy, the proposed gas canopy. Here's the diesel canopy. And then here's our proposed fencing that I mentioned earlier. This is just a rendering. I can get you guys in-person photos as well if need be. Any questions?
Thank you for
That
your
was a lot.
presentation.
I know.
I appreciate that, and
Yeah.
I love how succinct it was. My comment is on the fence.
Okay.
I am very opposed to a wood fence right there.
Okay.
That is the entrance of our city, and we had this discussion on council several months ago about how that should look, and so we decided to maintain a masonry fence for a 6-foot masonry fence for that specific location.
Okay.
So we have required that on our frontage on I-84, and so we'd like to continue that here.
If that's a condition for approval, as I showed on our slide, we are more than happy to work with you guys.
It's a condition for me.
It is.
Anyone else?
Anyone else? Any other questions?
Not for the developer.
Can I get your opinions on the fence? Rude. I'll ask Jeremy. Jeremy, how do you feel about the fence?
I like the idea of a masonry fence. I think that'll make it look a lot better than the one that's been proposed. My question would be, is that gonna be irrelevant because they're gonna put up a sound wall once they redo 89 anyway? Do we know? If that,
Well, won't come that far
That's a
down.
long ways away.
Yeah.
okay.
I-
That isn't wanna put as a requirement, and then there's a 12-foot sound wall that goes right in front of it or something, you know? But if that's not gonna be a concern,
The new interchange that they're doing at 84. The sound wall is gonna be part of that.
is that gonna be on
And
both sides?
It shows it on their plan,
Okay,
but the sound wall does not come that far. In fact, it stops
right at the
probably
property.
about their property.
Okay,
Maybe just,
Right about there.
okay.
Yeah.
So then it would make sense to continue a masonry wall there, I think. I think that would look good.
Thank you.
And when I say masonry, just so that, hey, he doesn't see, hey, I'm cutting you off.
Yeah. You had a chance.
You had a
Sorry.
chance, you said no.
Okay.
But it isn't a huge dollar thing either. I think the masonry fences, if you look as you go down 84, they've been nice. They're not it's not what I want to say, it's not like you're building a sound wall.
Yeah.
But it's just a nice looking masonry wall.
Yeah.
Not a cinder block. but-
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, and if you've ever been to any of our sites, which we don't have any here in Utah to be examples, we will soon in Marriott Slaterville, but you'll notice that we maintain all of our sites to the utmost excellence, and we hold ourselves to a higher standard than most of our competitors.
Can you clarify specifically where you're requiring that as a condition?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Go ahead, go to site plan.
Yeah, can we go to site plan?
Can we give Wayne an opportunity to speak?
Oh, my goodness.
Thanks.
If you
Can we
apologize,
both, I mean, Angie's running the meeting, so I guess I gotta ask everybody.
I'll allow it.
Councilman Windsor, would you like to comment?
Whether may I, yes, may I, however you want. I do agree that wood fence is more dilapidated, it's gonna fall apart, but my question would be, when you say masonry wall, masonry fence, are you talking 4 foot, 6 foot, 10 foot? What?
6 foot,
Sorry?
6 foot,
6, okay, I thought you said 8, that was the one number I didn't say, so I wanted to make sure. So 6 foot.
6 foot, yeah.
Precast is what you're talking.
Yes, precast, yes.
Wayne, I do want to point out though, we do not have a single wood fence in our entire inventory that's dilapidated or run down. So we do maintain very well.
You've never met South
We'll
Weaver
replace
Winds.
Yeah. But yes, no, we are more than happy to abide by the condition.
Well, I
So-
think a masonry fence also offers some safety features.
Yeah.
You know, you get fires along the highways. We had one this past summer on 84 next to an RV park.
Yeah.
And if it hadn't been for a masonry wall, that
It would've
RV park
continued.
would have been
Yeah.
toast.
Yeah.
So that's,
On that plan then, where was the extent of the wood fence going? Trying to,
It was against the 89.
So there should be a call out.
I was looking for it. I saw it earlier. I just can't.
It's
Yeah,
on page
it was-
120.
Sign that's behind the.
The dumpster.
On page 120, it shows the fence, which is the east side and also the north side.
I think what was proposed
Yeah.
was the east property line would have the wood fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right here in
It's
the,
along the
right
east
there where your
Yeah.
mouse just was,
Right there.
right there.
Is it east and east north? Or I mean,
Just east.
Well, there's,
I don't
if you want to
So the north
simplify it,
side-
just say the east property line and the north property line.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I've,
yeah.
So do you want, are you suggesting that it be on both property lines or just the east property line?
I think so.
I think both. This is the corner entrance of our city, so I don't see why we would want it on one and not the other. Because there would need to be a fence there anyways, regardless.
One quick question that I did have was that during your presentation, you mentioned that you were only having one sign.
One monument sign.
One monument sign?
Yes, and
Okay.
then one pole sign, which will be our big 60-foot
Okay.
pole sign.
As we go through it's important to me, so point it out if I don't catch it, that we give equal accessibility and freedom, if you will, to both businesses. I don't want this to in any way hinder our current Maverick. But anything that we've also allowed, I think is also clearly should be pointed out and allowed to any other businesses that would come here, so.
Well, in the background, the reduction of the sign was due to neighbors' concern of light shining into their window. And so we were trying our best to accommodate. And so at that distance, with our canopy height being 20 feet,
Mhm.
and then that sign only being 60 feet, as you move further away, that canopy is going to start shielding that a little bit more. So our hope is that the residential properties won't ever see it, but if they do, it'll be as mitigated as possible because the original placement of the sign was on that southern entrance.
Okay. And I did see the landscaping on it, and I do greatly appreciate the trees that are going inside there, especially the honey locust, that will do perfect there, so.
Joel did touch on my question, but it wasn't necessarily for the developers, more for the planning commission and or staff. And it's like, I'm very much troubled by these left turn only medians that are on the frontage road. And the results that they cause. This isn't the
Right.
developer's doing. He's doing it because it was directed by someone. Could that someone please explain to us why this is more beneficial than not? And other than there, can we just get rid of them?
I can respond to that. You may not like my response. But the city council adopted a transportation master plan And we had a whole section in there addressing this stretch of road. In that plan, because we knew that something may someday happen on this property. And so we hired a traffic consultant to give us recommendations on what they felt would be the best way to address this ahead of time, so that when someone comes in, we would be prepared and we could respond accordingly. So what you see before you is just basically implementing that plan to as far as we could do it without the city having to come up with the additional funds to basically widen it to one more lane. Well, really it's 2 lanes, because what's being proposed is 3 lanes, a lane in each direction and a center lane. The long-term plan was 5 lanes, or 2 lanes in each direction and a center lane, as well as a roundabout at 7800. So the roundabout was beyond the scope of their full impact. And so the city would be on the hook to pay for a portion of that, as well as additional widening. As I think you're well aware, the city does not have money to put towards a project of that magnitude at this time. We have submitted a grant application to be able to do the additional work, but that would be years in the future. If I recall from the meeting when we talked about this, there was some concern about if what we were potentially going to plan for was the right thing to do. So right now there is no roundabout being proposed. There's only the 3 lanes. You could move forward with this as it is, and just see how things go. And if it feels like it's becoming a problem, then, you know, if we were able to get additional grant funding and you wanted to widen it and go for the roundabout, if you felt like that was the safest thing to do, you could do that. As far as the medians go, that was part of it.
Actually, there was a single median. It was not broken up so that you could go through it. It was a single median with the full intent of anything leaving Maverick would have to go up and go around the roundabout to come back down. So I get blamed a lot for things, and I just wanted to clarify that when we did that one, it was a single median going up that road. So
Right, but restricting left-hand turns. So what is in front of you would actually allow residents or whoever is trying to get to Maverick to turn left into that, which I guess allows one more movement than what was in the plan.
Brandon,
I'm not saying the plan was right. I'm just saying that those turns in there, they weren't in there when we approved it.
Right.
Be great.
I have to say that in my professional opinion, I think the safer thing is to leave the medians.
Brandon, is there any laws that would be broken if we did not put those medians in?
No laws that I'm aware of.
My insurance would go up because my daughter would wreck.
So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I had another question.
Go ahead.
So what we're asking, if we don't put the medians in there, we're relying upon public to be the public and be safe and make conscious decisions to make left and right turns and be a little courteous rather than forcing the traffic pattern. If we didn't put the medians in.
That's correct.
Would we be liable for any accident if we did not put the medians in?
That I can't respond to, because if you are knowingly doing something that could be demonstrated that is not
Amy,
safe.
could you weigh in real quick?
As all of you, I hope know by now, liability in Utah can be shared. And if there are defects in the design or dangerous conditions created as a result of the design, cities can be held responsible for that. I'm not a transportation engineer or a design professional on that, and so I defer to the expertise of our city attorney, but I think he's given you good recommendations on what, or city engineer. He's given you good recommendations on what he deems to be the safest design. There, I will say, you know, you can reach a level where you're sanitizing the environment more than what would be required, right? We're not required to bubble wrap the city so that no accident can ever occur, but you do have to follow sound engineering principles, established design practices, and I think within that, there are typically ranges of options that are available. And Brandon can probably guide you on, you know, what those choices are and what are the reasonable choices there. If you depart from what he recommends, I would only advise that you do that if you do it after some study and review to make sure that what you're doing fits within the established and accepted designs.
Okay, thank you. Brandon, please continue.
Angie, I didn't catch your question, so I'm open to it now.
It was nothing. It was just hilarious, that's all.
Did I answer the question? Do you have? Yeah, I warned you that you probably wouldn't.
Is there no other option that is possible? Because I think that's the thing that was causing the most consternation in all the comments that I've heard and you've heard, I think.
Yeah.
Is there no other
Well,
plausible option?
If I could just go back in time a little bit. When Maverick came in, they owned the property to the point where they put their access. So the city did not require them to go and purchase additional property to move that access farther south, which would have been ideal. Because we knew that it was too close to the intersection, but it's the property they owned. And they needed an access onto South Weaver Drive and onto 2700 East. So that's just how it came to be. When Car Wash came in, they only owned up to where that second property or that second access is. So that's where it went. And as long as nobody's across the street, it's fine, as you've seen, right? It works just fine. But now that you've got somebody coming in across the street, those access locations are not where they should be ideally. The spacing between them is not ideal. Therefore, you have queuing in the center median that could be in conflict with each other while there's people trying to turn left out of both businesses on both sides. So the potential for conflicts goes way up. You can eliminate a lot of those by putting in the center median and only allowing them to turn right. I mean, I recognize that that is not ideal, but it is the current situation that we have before us.
What about I get it, Maverick's entrance is close to the intersection. Morty's is another what?
It's super close. I don't know,
Well, they have the shared and then it's just up.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of how you get people, because you can turn over into Morty. I mean, I went over there 5 times to look through this, trying to figure it out. The last thing I still want is people turning and going up into the neighborhood or even turning and trying to come back down around through QT.
Agreed.
And that's what's gonna happen.
But don't you think
Yes.
behavior will change though? Blair?
Huh?
Human
I mean, it might change in mine because,
Right.
you know, I'm stopping at one of these places every morning because I'll learn it, but the people who are just coming in are gonna pull out and not know.
Yeah, the issues those with
You know.
trailers, RVs and stuff like that, they're coming into the Maverick, the only way they go out. Unless they're going all the way around and back. through
And
all
with
the
the trailer,
With the
like,
trailer.
let's say someone goes to their dump, and I'd hate to keep going back to there. To someone who's had gave public comment in planning commission, she was very accurate. Go try to pull out of there in a trailer. Now you're gonna turn right, now go find somewhere to turn around.
Church parking lot.
You're gonna have to go find a great big parking lot. And yeah, I do not like the medians. There's gotta be another solution to that. I get it. I agree with Brandon. I understand why it's there. I never did agree with the roundabouts on the traffic study. So, is there a way to widen the road, do something there. I
Just paint stripe it, have it as a left turn lane, like
Yeah.
yellow lines on each side, no median, and allow people to make conscious decision and run into each other. I mean, come on.
We could do another round of study. I would recommend that you do a third party that's outside of us. And see if there's additional, some other option that maybe hasn't been discovered yet. The only thing I guess I would wonder is, it's related to QT's application, but it's a little bit difficult for them to be kind of hamstrung by the road, and yet it is part of the issue. So if there is a way that if you want to do additional studies, that they could have the assurance of like their conditional use permit, that they're going to get that, but still allow for additional study and be able to continue that. That might be a way to help them know that what they're proposing is acceptable to you with the conditions that you place. But if you're not comfortable with how the road is currently designed or laid out, then we can study it more. Or you can just eliminate the medians altogether and just move forward. But I cannot in good conscience say that I think that's a good idea.
And I'm not a fan of the medians. That's why I voted no originally. I wanted to make sure that we talked about that. But looking at what's coming in here, looking at the options that we really do have, you have a lot more faith in people than I do. I've got an RV and I've tried pulling out of Maverick Mini at times, and there's a lot of times that, well, let's just say that kids don't necessarily have the most wisdom when they're making decisions like this. If this hurts, if our city engineer is saying that he honestly believes this is the best and safest route that we can do, I don't see how having another engineer come in that we don't love and admire as a third party try to tell us, well, maybe we could do this. I feel that you've done a good job on it, the best job that's available. I don't see any other way that this would be able to work and still be equal to both sides. I don't like it, but I also don't see any other way to do it. I've seen what QT has done where they've decided to have the trucks only going up in there. And I am anxious to see that. The exit only down lower. I think they've done quite a bit to make sure that they work with what we've got. So I guess I'm letting council know that I think this is the best option that we've got. And not happy with it, but it is the best.
And sorry, I do want to add one comment to that. So we worked with Brandon and staff for 6 months on this. And we explored all the options that you guys brought up. We explored just painting, we explored this, we explored just straight median, and this was the best one that we could come up with, which was we're actually adding an additional lane. We're giving up some of our land, adding an additional lane to turn right onto South Weaver Drive, which we were hoping would be the safest. But I just want to reiterate that we've tried to exhaust every avenue that we have on this, and I didn't want you guys to think we weren't working with you on that.
No, and that's the point, is that I don't see how spending more money, asking the same question over and over, hoping for a different outcome is the right move.
I did also want to say that if you guys think that Maverick isn't going to do something to account for this, I think you're crazy. Like, this is one of their top 10 stores in their entire company. And if they were in Quick Trip's position, they'd be going to town to get what they want in that spot. So while Maverick is great, and I go there, and I specifically buy my gas in Maverick because it helps the city. I don't get my gas anywhere else at the moment. But I think a lot of the concerns that have been brought up by the citizenry is they want the status quo to continue. And I think the status quo needs to change anyway. So if we approve this as is, I guarantee you, one of the first things that Maverick does is they're gonna do some refinagling on their property to make it easy for trucks and things to go in and out of that place.
Probably do.
I don't know how they would do it, but there's no way they just like sit on their laurels and not do anything. There's no way they just give up like that. They're too big of an organization, and that store makes them way too much money, in my opinion.
That's the point. If by doing this, we hinder their business by forcing the competition, by forcing their customers to go to their competition because they can't get out and go what they need to do. That's my concern.
Well,
Are they
that's-
gonna come after the city by penalizing them? Because right now, if I got a trailer and I'm in a Maverick, I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna drive through Quick Trip to turn around to go back out, South River Drive. That's the quickest way to turn back around.
Well, what I'm saying is that
It's a
if
better-
you think that Maverick isn't going to change their setup somehow to better accommodate
I'm
their
Maverick,
traffic.
why should I have to? I mean, I'm not trying to try to defend it, but why should I have to? If the city allows this to happen, they're damaging their customers' capabilities.
Yeah, I don't see it that way. I see it from the perspective of,
If I'm driving a trailer, I'm not gonna go to Maverick because it's hard for me to get out of there. I'm gonna go to the other one. Now they just took business away from Maverick.
sure,
That's a free market.
sure.
And
Quick Trip's not gonna have a, sewer
We
dump.
put the meeting.
No, how else do you do it?
So that, I mean, Maverick will be the only one that has that.
Sewer dump, but then just but the fill up. I guess.
Fill up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make an argument either way.
No.
I'm saying
I can-
it's damaging one for another. And I'm like, how can we make it even? How can we
Yeah.
make it fair?
I agree.
I would still vote to take it out. Take out the median.
Yep. No roundabout, no median.
What would you do instead of the median? Would you do the painted lines like?
Paint the lines. I mean, it's doable. I get it. The one, I mean, I'd be more apt to approve just the first section of that and not blocking off Morty's as well. Cause that gives those people a way out of there.
Oh, I see. what you're saying.
You literally take you take my 47-foot horse trailer and go try to go around the backside of Maverick and come around to their front entrance. It doesn't happen. I mean, I just don't go in there anymore. I go in there with a truck and a pup. I don't go in there anymore. I mean, we are doing a disservice to that company next to them by having that there. That's my opinion. Whether it's the safety, whatever, I just don't think you allow something to come in there and then we put something in there that affects another business because of our decision.
Brandon, what do you think on that?
Getting rid of the second.
Yeah, the doing anything here definitely has an impact on Maverick, and my recommendation of putting in the medians is because I believe that's the safest. But you have to take into, I mean, but that sounds like, I'm like, well, too bad, so sad for Maverick. If I felt like there was an option where like we could make everybody happy, then we certainly would have tried to land on that way before now.
Had you even brought Maverick in to have a conversation with them to get their ideas on the subject?
No, we
They've
have
been-
not.
Sorry?
They've had a representative at planning commission.
Yes, but we have not sought them out to get their opinion.
So the second one though, so the first one was actually a median and then the second one was painted on. That gives you the safety and the control, if you will, of making sure people know which one to go into instead of going in the exit only. But then the secondary one, if that one is a painted on, and that would allow Morty and Maverick people to make that left turn. Yeah, exactly. Stop it basically right there with that first one, and then that second one just be painted. Do you think that would inherently increase the risk dramatically? What's What's your thoughts?
I don't know how much of the traffic is gonna be pushed to that second, to the Morty's, to the car wash entrance. This much I can say.
I see that I think we're talking exit right now, though. Because, yeah, as it's going through the first, that's the way everybody still travels. So if they're on that side of the Maverick Road going up, they're always gonna be able to turn up into there. That won't ever change on that.
Right.
This would be allowing people that are coming out of the combined Morty Maverick Road to be able to make a left turn where the median would stop them right there. And it doesn't look like it interferes with either of those on the other side.
So let me just restate, are you
Please.
suggesting removing the median from the Maverick entrance north?
No, the
No.
Maverick entrance south.
Then what purpose does the Maverick entrance north serve?
It only blocks you from the Maverick entrance, it blocks you from turning left still. If you're looking, that's.
If you remove,
On that map?
I thought you were trying to let people from Maverick turn left out.
Yes.
Well, we were just saying that you would have the option to go up into Morty's and out if you were driving something like
Right.
that.
Well, for sure, the, let's say from the middle access to the between
Right there.
between the Maverick and Morty's.
Right.
Well, really, I should say on the Quick Trip side.
Yeah.
From the north to the middle, you could remove that median if with the undeveloped property to the south of the car wash, if that access was shifted to align with that middle access. There's currently undeveloped property there, and so.
So given a use case that I would have personally, say I go into Maverick with my big RV and I leave out the exit that normally goes to or where it combines. According to this, with that median, I would actually have to go south and then turn into QT, go around their gas pumps, and then come back out so that I could turn left on South Weaver Drive.
Yes. Unless,
Left or right, yeah.
Yeah, so if this, God, that's so loud tonight.
You bend it down a little bit, it doesn't squeal.
Like that?
Yeah, if everybody does that, it's better. Thank you.
Okay. So that's all I'm asking is that at that median, that second one, if that was painted so that I still have the choice with my RV to just make a left turn there so that I could then go into the left and not have to use their facility as a turnaround. Not saying that I would, goes down to gas prices. It's a big machine. I personally would feel a lot better with that. I mean, I know that's not, like you were saying, a perfect solution of no medians, but I think that gives us a combination of the safety being able to route and still allow for vehicles to exit the Maverick area, because that's a bad spot.
yeah.
So I don't
Okay,
know.
I'm
That
still
comes
not
up to-
sure if I'm understanding, because if you remove the medians to where you can make a left-hand turn out of Maverick at the shared entrance, you don't need any medians at all. There's no purpose. The reason for the median from the intersection at South Weaver Drive across that excess is so that you can't turn left.
I'm still in favor of no median.
I'm waiting for your motion, Blair.
I don't have a vote, but I'm in favor of no medium as well.
Is there anything else, Brandon, or anybody else that needs to be changed on that road if we don't have the median? Lance? Sorry, I just wasn't getting your name out.
Well, I mean, we would want to come up with a striping plan to try to accommodate it the best we could.
That would just turn into.
But
That would just turn into a suicide lane.
it
right?
does, yeah, that's the problem, is you just have,
Okay.
you have cars pointed at each other. with not enough queuing and they don't know where to go, but.
Additionally, does that remove the additional lane?
No, I wouldn't propose you change anything
Okay.
with the road, the width, or anything like that. Everything that they've got laid out, in my opinion, is the best we can hope for at this point.
Good.
I want to point one more thing out. So the southernmost entrance, the truck in only was widened to be oversized to accommodate RVs and trucks to turn around if the median were to stay. However, we've gone back and forth. We don't mind if there's no median or if there is a median. So,
Yeah, I think we want it the same.
yeah.
But if there is a median or not, would
Still
you
do it.
keep that wider,
Yeah.
that southern entrance?
Yeah,
Okay.
we would still maintain it.
Yeah.
Because the plan eventually was to have a roundabout, so that would be accommodating to that.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I think this is just one of the worst decisions we've ever had to make.
It was not a good decision. You're right. When we allowed that to be combined, it was, yeah.
Do we want to make a motion then to?
Yes, if you'd like to make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
No, you say?
Are we done talking?
Hang on a second. Angie?
Angie, you got anything?
I don't know. I've been over here for months driving around this trying to figure out the best solution.
Put the Slater principle in.
Yeah, the Slater factor is the medians have to stay.
I don't think everybody understands the Slater factor.
I was thinking of Slater, but.
No.
He's a little crazy.
My son Slater.
She doesn't want to incriminate herself. We haven't changed that golf cart code yet.
Can always add them.
Mayor, I make the motion to approve the conditional use permit 26-01 Quick Trip with the following condition that the meetings be removed from the plan.
And can I make an addition of a 6-foot masonry fence?
So amended.
Seconded.
We have a motion, second by Councilman Davis. Let's do it.
For clarification, you said medians removed?
Yes.
Can I just ask, the other conditions that the planning commission recommended are all still in play?
And to include those.
Okay, I'll amend that too.
And the location of the fence?
The north and east.
North and east. Okay, we'll do a roll call vote, starting with Councilman Alderson.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
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 Okay, 4-1, motion carries. Thank you.
I do think that it's important to point out on that the medians can always be put in. That if the size of the road and everything like that, then we still have that option.
That was just for the medians.
Here, here.
Okay.
Okay, next item, resolution 26-05, amending policy and procedures. Any discussion on this resolution? If not, we'll look for a motion to approve. Or,
Yeah, Administration Committee reviewed this and favored it, fully. Unless there's any questions in the hearing, none, I'll make the motion to approve, resolution 26-05, amending the policy and procedures as presented.
Seconded.
we have a motion and a second by Councilman Howerson. Do a roll call vote, starting with Councilman Windsor.
Aye.
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 Okay, great, motion carries. Next item, ordinance 26-02A, amending sewer impact fee, effective date. Any discussion on this ordinance?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-02A, sewer impact fee analysis.
Second.
A motion, second by Councilman Windsor. We'll start with Councilman Alderson.
Aye.
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 Okay, once again, motion carries. Ordinance 26 2026 03 amending Title 10, Chapter 11 supplementary and I need a drink. Qualifying regulations.
Thank you for bringing this back. I like the changes that we made. So if there's no discussion, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-03, amending Title 10, Chapter 11, supplementary and qualifying regulations.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second by Councilman Halverson. Let's start with Councilman Windsor.
Before we do that, can I just,
Yes.
I'm trying to catch up, and I don't want to vote on anything, but,
That's on the
which
fence.
one?
That was on the fencing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did read that. Thank you.
Councilman Windsor?
No.
No.
Aye.
Aye.
Also, you too. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item, discussion legislative review. Dave, do you want to bring anything out on the legislation session this year, or?
Is that a trick question? Not necessarily. There were, but I will bring up one thing. There were a lot of bills discussed relative to property taxes. Ultimately, there was really only one that was approved that has material change to our process. And that was Representative Karen Peterson's bill that if a city is intending to go through the truth in taxation process, then it requires earlier notice in the process. And even though there's still a lot of unknowns earlier in the process because we don't get final numbers from the county on certified tax rate until later in June, it would require approximate and estimated numbers with a prior notice. So if the council does consider holding the rate and or increasing property tax revenue in any way and is considering going through truth in taxation, then we would need to provide that notice much earlier. It also, that same bill requires, I forgot the specific name of the document, a document that basically outlines as clearly as possible what that additional revenue would go toward. And requires the city to, when they adopt the budget, you can include the additional revenue in your budget. However, you cannot spend any of that revenue until after truth in taxation and a increase in property tax rate or revenue, so that it doesn't feel like there's undue pressure on the council to go through truth and taxation process in August, hear from the public, but still feel like, well, we've already adopted a budget that has that increase in it, so our hands are tied. It's allows for the council to go through that process without that type of undue burden or pressure to approve a budget that way. So it's changed to the process, not so much beyond that. So
I've been here too long.
that's the only bill that I think I feel the need to bring up, unless Mayor or Joel has any that they feel.
Can I ask a question on that one? Did they remove the requirement to post in a newspaper? Like, did they adjust that yet? To where if there's a change, you're required to post in a newspaper or something like that, right? Yeah.
I don't believe that has been removed yet, but I know it's been discussed. So I have in my head that it might be, but I'm not 100% certain. So I won't give you a definitive answer.
It
but I'll
wasn't
look
on the
into
board
that.
Friday to be circled, if I remember right, so.
Yeah, I don't think
So I don't even think it went to
I
discussion.
don't think it did either.
So, yeah.
Okay.
But we're still gonna do it, right?
I think the goal with that bill is a good one. It's a noble one, with the idea that the public should know and have understanding of why a council or a city would be going through a truth in taxation process, and the timing of when property tax information comes to the city is late enough that there's no way to move up the property tax, truth in taxation process and public hearing and things like that. That was looked at first, is let's move that up in the timeline, but that's just not a possibility. Therefore, the truth in taxation process still has to happen in August. It can't be before the budget is adopted and in place for July 1. So this just adds an additional layer of communication and hopefully transparency to communicate better and educate better why a city may be considering a property tax increase and specifically what that money would be used for.
New business. Anyone have any new business they'd like to discuss?
Mayor, may I?
Yes.
The Parks Committee, I lost the arm wrestling event with the Parks Chair. So I was asked to canvass the council on a subject with regards to the master plan for Central Park. And there's some certain questions, decision tree that we want to go through. And we didn't know if we wanted to do that in an open meeting as an agenda item, if we want to do it as a work session, or if you wanted just the Parks Committee to go back and make some recommendations on the master plan to bring back for an elaborate discussion. I'm trying to be somewhat vague because if we get into deep discussion, it could jeopardize property values if we wanted to go down that path. So I'm trying to be somewhat vague, but there are some key decisions that need to be discussed as we develop that master plan. So the canvas question is, would you like to do that in an open forum or open meeting? Do you want to do it in a closed session because it does deal with property value and trying to get the best cost of a property? Or do you want to do it in a work session?
I think I'd appreciate a working session, but I think those can be more effective if you bring one or two recommendations along with that.
The issue is there's not recommendations. There's a if this, then that, if that, then this. And it's I wanted to walk you through a decision-making process. Because as soon as you say no to one of the question's done. If it's yes, then it leads to other questions. And where's the comfort level to get to the final result? So I've been tasked to lead the council through a decision-making tree on a key decision for that master plan for that park. And
I'm okay with a work session. I don't have a problem with that.
Angie?
I'm okay with a work session too.
Okay. She barely won the arm wrestling contest. I want to. Mayor?
I'm good with that.
Joel?
I do see the value in keeping it a closed session. I really do.
So we'll just need to know as we get into it, I'll let Mayor. Gary said he wanted to do a work session.
Yeah, but I'd be fine if it was closed too. I don't really care. But it does need to be separate from this meeting.
It does need to be separate from this meeting. Okay, so I'll counsel with the committee chair and the mayor, and we'll come up with an agenda item at a future meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Any other new business? Anyone have a report they'd like to make on their committee? Budgets that are going on, I don't know that we would have.
I have nothing to report.
Dave, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to report on one thing. The Utah State provided well-being survey is active right now. It's been open for about a week. And we received our first report on the number of responses. We had 122 responses in the first week. The last time this survey was conducted, we had a total of 298 responses. So it's usually open for about 3 weeks. If we had that same number every week, we'd be right about where we were last time. But it'd be awesome to get more responses than last time if possible. So
are they emailing that out?
Shaylee, do you want to talk about the publication process?
Yeah, but you can't see me and I'm not standing. Yeah, I sent an email out. It's on the city website, just on the city news portion on the homepage. I also have a few posts going out to remind residents as well as follow-up emails as well. So
While Shaylee has the microphone, is it an appropriate time to ask about Easter? Thank you.
Sure. Do you want to just know about it?
Yeah, could you just tell us what it is? No.
Yeah.
What is the Easter egg hunt? When is that?
The Easter egg hunt this year is going to be on Saturday, April 4th at 9 a.m. instead of Fridays. We're going to try Saturday mornings instead.
And which
So-
park will that be at?
That's going to be at Central Park.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for
Shaylee.
asking. Yeah, but it'll be separated in age groups again, just as we always have done. Siren goes off at 9 a.m. sharp, so make sure you get there ahead of time.
Angie, did you have an item?
That was all. I just
That was
needed,
it?
yeah, thank you.
Joel, you have an item.
Just real quickly, it's more of a request. Dave, you and your team do a lot of great work. And I know putting together these agendas and the packets is often difficult. We've had a couple times in this meeting, we've had 2 or 3 where information in the packet was either conflicting or at very least confusing. And that makes it difficult on city council when we have to vote on these things, as well as any miscommunications and misunderstandings that can happen with the public a week before this even occurs in the meeting. So I would just like to ask if you guys would take a look at some of the issues that was brought up and see what happened, if it was something that was just, I mean, obviously a simple mistake, but is there a way that we could either put on that front page a quick, this is the exact numbers that we are voting on, so that even if it shows it later on, we'll know that this is the actual information that's going on. And there may be nothing to do. It may be just, this is one of those meetings because we had such a thick packet, but I would like you to take a look at that if you would, please.
Anyone else? Look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.